Hi, good evening ladies. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of a technical hitch with the scheduled link that I've put out. So I'm starting a new link and I'm hoping that you're going to notice that I'm live on this link. Is my fingers crossed. So just bear with me. I'm going to... Hi MJ, could you just message a few people and just let them know that I've had to start a new link because that scheduled link won't let me film myself. I can only join it. So I'm just quickly letting people know on my laptop that we're live in the link above. You know, separate. Have we got Grace? Link above. Let me just let Grace know where we are and then we will rock and roll. Hold on, I'm just letting Grace know again. It goes live, no green bit yet. Okay, there's 5 lovely people. Who have we got on board? Say hello, everybody. Let me know who we have got here while I just try and find Grace and get Grace hooked up. Let's see who we've got. Because Grace and I have had a rehearsal. Unbelievably, you wouldn't believe it, would you? But Grace and I have had a rehearsal today. But the technology is a little bit tricky, so please bear with us. Grace, are you here, honey? Are you in? Oh, I can't see who's on there. Who's in the group as well? Sorry. Oh, dear. That's my kitchen. That's not what I meant to do. Where's all the comments? Oh, right, we've got Hayley in the house. Hi, Hayley. Yes, and beautiful Grace, she's here. So let's hope we've got the little green camera, which means Grace can then chat with us live on the screen. So, Grace, can we make this work between the two of us? Just so professional, as always. Hi, Angie. Just waiting for Grace to see if she can log in. Maybe I can tap and say from this. Yeah, okay, Grace. I'm adding you in, Grace. I think I've done it, honey. I think I've got you in.
Yay! That was so scary.
We did it. I can't believe we're doing this, Grace.
So exciting. How are you?
I'm so good. How are you?
Good. Yeah, good, thank you. Very happy to be, it's happening and it's working. Hurrah!
I know, technology. We've beaten it tonight. I'm so
Hurrah.
excited. So excited. I've been listening to your book on holiday this weekend, laughing out loud while drinking my mojito. So it's kept us well entertained on my girls' holiday.
It probably goes quite well with a mojito. Like that might be what you need at the beginning, maybe.
I'd agree.
Yeah.
Definitely mojito. So thank you so much for coming on tonight. Kicking off our RESTFEST lineup, I'm going to be interviewing every one of our little star guests one night of the week. Hold on, we're just getting some messages saying turn your screen to landscape. It should be next to each other, be easy to see. Hold on.
Okay,
I don't know if we're going to be able to try and do that. That's going to completely mess up my...
You're upside down, or I'm upside down.
It's not going to work my tripod. That's not going to work my tripod. Am I upside down?
You were.
I can't do the upside down. That's it. Otherwise, I'm going to have a whoops funny old setup. Okay. As I was saying. Whoa! Now I've messed with the tripod. Right. Okay. Hold on. There we go. Okay, right, we're doing this. I'm not going to touch the screen anymore. So, yeah, I'm really excited to be interviewing one of our amazing lineup every week. And you're kicking off for us. So, thanks for being patient with all my technical, genius that's clearly going on here right now. So, Grace, tell us a little bit about yourself. So, anybody who doesn't know who you are, you're an author, a beauty writer. You've got an
Yeah.
amazing book out. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what inspired MumFace.
Well, really, I'm by day a beauty editor, so I freelance now and I write for lots of different people. But when I first found out I was pregnant, I was about to start a maternity contract at Glamour magazine, where I'd worked before, and it sort of threw everything up in the air. We weren't expecting to get pregnant at that moment, and it was I was a bit shell shocked. And so the book kind of came out of those first 4 years of just kind of, I never really came out of the shock, I don't think. I absolutely loved it. I hated being pregnant, was not a good pregnant person. And then my daughter was born and it was, well, you were there, pretty much. It was the most amazing first year of anything I've ever experienced. It was incredible. But I mean, it completely changed me. And I found that really interesting. Once I could look back and realize what had gone on, I found that really interesting. And so when it came to, I got an agent and was hoping to write a book. And she was just like, you've got to write about this experience of what it does to you as a woman. So regardless of, you know, where you come from or what you're up to, some of the things that happen to you when you become a mum are, I think, universal.
Mm-hmm.
And little did I know she was pregnant at the time. So I wrote a few chapters about the biggest things that I felt had changed, which were my friendships and my sex life, and they were funny. It's not dark. I mean, I don't think it's negative. It's because I am a very, very happy mum. So it's kind of the funny things that happen and how your identity changes, and how eventually, even though I did love being a mum and I love my kid and, you know, she's incredible, I suddenly found myself about 2 years in having to catch up with everyone else in the outside world, because I suddenly felt like, whoa, hang on, I'm all right when it's just the two of us at home in this bubble, but then I try and go out and do things and work and stuff, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't remember how to do anything anymore. So yeah, it's kind of about how your identity changes and how you might want to get some of it back and you might want to evolve into something else, but it's, you know, it's mainly laughs.
Yeah, it's so many laughs.
It's really hard to describe it without it sounding quite dark and quite negative and quite sad. So it's like,
it's really honest. It's really raw, isn't it? I don't think I was just in so much admiration of your really not giving a shit about sharing.
No. I honestly think, like, I obviously I thought about it and I talked to my husband because he was going to be.
What did you think?
Well, yeah, I kind of talked to him about it. I mean, I said, like, if I do this, I'm going to have to really do this, and there's nothing that I can kind of leave out. I've got to go full on, otherwise it's not going to be worthwhile. But he's really laid back. He was like, yeah, sure, yeah, you're fine. And luckily, because he's not an idiot, he doesn't, I don't think, come across as one, so that's okay. But I think, you know, when I was with other women and meeting other women for the first time in that kind of mat leave weird state, the only thing that was bonding me to people was if I came out with something like, you know, oh my, you know, leaking tits or whatever it was, like something that isn't comfortable conversation, I would know instantly whether that person was going to be my mate or not. And if I made them uncomfortable, I would totally back off and be like, yeah, sorry, that's ridiculous. But most of the time I just found them going, oh my God, me too. Why isn't anyone talking about this? Like, and so when my agent was like, you have to go all out on this, I was like, yeah, like, of course. But also because when other people did it to me, I felt so comforted when they were like, either a negative feeling or like just something hilarious. I'd always feel like, oh yeah, we're all in it together. This feels like a sisterhood. Whereas and so I knew that hopefully by doing that myself and by writing it down, I would be offering that to someone else that I couldn't even talk to or touch in person. And I think that's the response it's mostly had, is that kind of, oh okay, yeah, she said it, now we can all say it, it's fine.
Yeah, definitely. There is just so much detail.
Yeah,
so much detail. And
that's just the way I write. Like, I realized when I was writing it that, like, I mean, there's a lot of pages in that book and there's not a lot of like different topics, but I must just go into minute detail about everything to make it sort of like you're there in the moment. I don't know how many people want to be there in some of the moments.
True, but it's
my mother,
great.
Like, for example, not allowed to read it.
No,
not happening.
No, it's a beautiful roller coaster, and I just think it's so authentic. And I think lots of mums, if they will find chunks of it that they just go, hell yeah.
Oh,
for sure.
Thank you. I hope so.
Yeah, definitely, definitely, definitely. So that's MumFace. That's the book. How does it feel to be an author? How does it feel to like see the book on the shelves, to be up there on Amazon and stuff?
It's nuts. It's really, really, really nuts. And I think like it still doesn't feel like a real book because I wrote it, if you know what I mean. So whenever I see it, I'm like, it's like a pretend book. Like maybe, I don't know how my mum and dad did this, but I feel like they had a hand in it. Like it's a pretend thing. And then, but it's when I get messages from people that I've never met in my life and I don't know at all. That's like, oh yeah, okay, cool. Some people are reading it that I haven't forced to. And it's really, really nice. And I think I've made so many friends virtually through it that of people who are just like, you know, either enjoyed reading it or we have something in common that they've discovered through the book. It's really nice. It feels like a nice little network of people oversharing.
Yeah, with lots of swears.
There's so many swears. Yeah. I mean,
Is there a swear
like,
count in the book?
I was going to say no swearing.
Huh?
No swearing. Is that a good
Oh,
idea?
totally fine. Go. Hell yeah.
It's not to the watershed kind of. So my daughter is 5, nearly 6, and she said she was at Easter. We were with like all the in-laws and like all the grown-ups in the family basically, and she was being so sweet. We were so proud, and she said to my mother-in-law, my favorite book is my mummy's book, and everyone was like, oh bless her. And she said, but I can't read it because it's mostly just swear words like motherfucker. And I was just like, oh, that's good. Yeah.
There's Miguel. There's Miguel.
Yeah, great.
Oh no. I'd say, is there a swear count in the book? Have you counted how many swear words there is?
I counted the F word. I can't remember why now, but I think because my husband and I had bets on how many there would be, and I think he was going to tell his mum in the sense of like, you won't want to read it, and I think it was over 124, which is how many there are in Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels.
Well, there you go.
So it was on,
benchmark.
yeah, exactly. I thought that was quite a good benchmark. It's like on the grid of like those sort of films that would need an 18.
Yes.
Good. But that's cool. I mean, that's just how we talk. And also, I think it brings like some levity to a situation. So I could have written a sentence that might have been like, oh God. But when you whack in a swear word, it just seems slightly less serious somehow.
Yes. You've worked the magic just beautifully with it all.
So professional.
So a couple of questions I want to ask you really just about being a mum and that big adjustment. Your book is a lot about the adjustment that you go through and reflecting back to what your old life was like and your kind of very, very altered lifestyle. So what kind of advice what have you taken from that journey, and what's your advice to any mums that haven't read the book yet that are going through this big transformation?
Yeah, I think the most important thing that kept me sane was that I went into it with no expectations. So I hadn't like ached to become a mum. I didn't know what kind of mum. I didn't have any preconceived notions of what it would be like, and I just went with the flow. So when I felt like staying home and being in the bubble, I did that, and I didn't worry about, you know, what anyone was going to think of me, you know, not joining all the groups and stuff. When I felt like going out, I went out. You know, I think like to just really like listen to your body, listen to how you're feeling emotionally as well, and just go with it. And sometimes that will be staring at your baby all day and soaking it all up and smelling them. And sometimes it'll be like, oh, actually, I need like an hour doing something else now. Like, and that's all okay. There's no like right or wrong way to do it. So I think, yeah, I think like the when I started to find it more tricky was when there were expectations placed on me of like, right, well, you should be kind of stopping breastfeeding now, or you should be getting back to work now. And that's when I was like, oh, I haven't got the tools to socialize anymore. I'm really tired and I've kind of forgotten what to talk about. And so that's why I think going in and just being like, you know, we'll see where the day takes us. It's all fine. That was all really easy. So yeah, my only advice, and I really have no parenting advice whatsoever, but my only thing is like, just listen to your body and your brain and how you're feeling, and just go with it, and make you and your baby the priority. Like if there are people who don't fit in with that, sack them off for a bit. Like they'll understand at some point. Do you know what I mean? And just listen to what you think is going to make you and the baby happy in that 1 24-hour period, and then move on to the next one.
Yeah, one day at a time is always great advice in those early days, isn't it? And just trusting your own instinct and not feeling the pressure from what everybody else, and all that unsolicited advice that you talk about in the book.
Yeah, you have to have a pretty powerful filter, because I think when it's like your mum or you know, your best friend or someone who you're close to. I think it's easy with the woman in the post office to just be like, oh, naff off, like whatever. But when it's someone that you love and that you respect, and then they're saying like, maybe you should be doing this, it's really hard to filter and to be like, no, I know what I want to do. But yeah, I think it is important to just also remember that everything really does come with good intentions. And even if it is something that you think, why would you say that? Just let it go. Let it go.
Yeah.
Watch a bit of Netflix, forget about it, you know.
For sure. Nothing Netflix can't solve.
Nothing.
Mm-mm. Awesome. So I also know we've got a few writers in my Good Enough Women group, which
Cool.
a lot of our viewers. So do you have any advice for anybody that's really want to get their story down on paper and get sharing more? Because you've got a huge Instagram following as well. You know, how do you go about building that all up? And
well, I feel like a fraud because actually I've started so many things. Like I've started a blog at some point. I've started Instagram years ago and then gave it up, and I've never stuck to anything long enough to build something organically. And the reason I've got the follower numbers I've got on Instagram is because when my book first came out, I had a few big Instagrammers like Mother of Daughters flag it up, and honest to God, when that happens, you'll get 500 new followers in the space of a few hours. And it feels like, oh, this is what it's like to buy followers. Do you know what I mean? It feels really strange. But if they stick with you, then I guess you know that you're
on the right vibe
with what they wanted. Yeah, I hope. God, I haven't got a clue. So I haven't got any advice in that at all. I was just so lucky that they were supportive and you know, like accepted the book nicely. But I think in terms of getting your story out there as a writer, I think that I would have said like maybe 5 years ago, start pitching to magazines and newspapers and do it that route, get an agent, like pitch a book. But honestly, now when I look at like the other people who are writing books and stuff, and the biggest success stories have always been off the back of Facebook and blogging and Instagram. Because I think if you've got a message and you put it out there in small portions via Facebook or Instagram or whatever, in captions and things, I feel like that's when you capture people, and then that's when you have an audience, and then that's when people will want you to write a book because you've already got people there.
Yeah.
So, and it's not how I got my book deal, I think, because I've got a track record as a journalist. So I think already they're like, well, you can spell, presumably.
Yeah,
big.
hopefully.
I actually really can't. And then I think I got an agent again off the back of being a journalist, I'm pretty sure, because it's really hard to just walk in off the street and say like, I want to write a book, and then have people invest in that, because there are so many people who want to do that. But yeah, when I look around at the people who are doing brilliantly well, like, you know, completely outselling my book, sorry, oh my God. They have built that audience already, and then you can imagine like an agent and a publisher are both going to be like, yeah, you're like bankable.
They'll be fighting over you for sure.
Yeah, so I think don't be afraid of, because I always felt like I don't want to put it out there on social, because it's almost like giving away your ideas before you've got them down. But it's not like that anymore. Like, I think if you look at like Why Mummy Drinks, she just was literally doing Facebook captions, and she's done so well with her book.
Yeah.
And on Mumsy Mum, she did so much on Facebook and stuff, and I think it is just such a valid platform to get your stuff out there.
Yeah, just go for it. Go for it. Let go of the fear and the judgment, and just be yourself.
No fear, no judgment. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think look at the people that you really like and see how they're doing it, and just get in there. Yeah. And don't be afraid if you're talking to 5 people, like keep talking, because it'll grow. You know, if you stay authentic and true to what your message is, like it will grow for sure.
Yeah, definitely. There's always a little tribe out there waiting to hear your message. There'll be people that don't like the message, and there'll be people that adore the message.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is I think like you have to be ready for people to not like it. And obviously whenever you put anything out, you're putting it out there because you want people to like it and engage with it. But I mean, I'm still learning that. Like, when there's a negative review on Amazon, I'm like, oh. if it feels like something that I was worried about, then I'm like, oh. But you know, it's also, motherhood is such like a kind of extremist thing, in that you're often like put in polar opposite camps to each other, and there are such strong opinions that if you're going to write about that experience, you have to be ready for that, I think, and that's okay.
Yeah, it's all okay. It's all okay, for sure.
Still standing.
Definitely. I've got a few more questions down here. So if you weren't a writer, What would you be doing, Grace, if you hadn't discovered writing? What's your alternative
So when I was
career?
a kid, I wanted to be an actress, and I wasn't very good at it. So I auditioned. My dad's an actor, and I auditioned to play his daughter, and I didn't get it. And I thought, if I can't nail that, because I look right, I know that much, then I'm not going to do it. I didn't get into drama school, so that was that. I think it'd probably still be something in magazines and papers and stuff. So, well, I'd like to hope it would be, just anything involved with words. I think, like, if I was a sub-editor, or I'd love to be editor of a magazine. I've kind of waved that ship goodbye years ago. I don't think that's going to happen, but yeah, it would still be word orientated, or publishing, any of those things where you're kind of reading and writing. Yeah.
Super. Turtle rescuing?
No, I effing hate that. Like, no. And in fact, actually, I saw a turtle today, and I was like, oh, no. I am definitely never going to be like a David Attenborough. It's not going to happen.
No.
I really admire
him. Like that start to your book to try and win over your readers at the start. I liked your style there.
I read over it and I thought, it does sound like I'm not very nice. And I think, I have my moments, but I'm not, nasty. And then I thought, oh, I remember that's, when I was really like almost godlike, so kind, so altruistic.
Your halo.
Yeah, massively. And then I realised that actually ended in me being like, gross.
No more turtle saving.
No.
Oh, cool. So let's have a chat about what we're going to be talking about on at Festival, which is Saturday, the 6th of October in Worthing. We've got an amazing venue. It's called Field Place for anyone that's not local. It's really beautiful barns and pavilions and gardens. And it's just going to be hundreds of awesome, inspirational, motivational women telling their stories, sharing their stories, listening to stories, learning, pampering, eating, feasting. Oh, it's going to be like sweet. It's going to be such an exciting day. And you're hosting a beautiful discussion for us, Grace. So tell us a little bit about what the direction that's going to go in, and what women will benefit from attending.
I think it's just the idea of like not being afraid of the judgment and letting loose in conversations with other women and being completely honest. And that doesn't mean that you're being honest and necessarily all agreeing, but just busting the myths of parenthood. Like, I think there are so many unhealthy images of motherhood out there, and one of the things I wanted to do with the book was to be like, that's fine that exists, and if that's comforting or helpful or gives you some inspiration, then that's awesome. But there is also this side that, like, hopefully you can empathize with and feel like you're not alone in your feelings if they're negative feelings. And also by sharing negative feelings, they dissipate, or you find someone who wants to support you and get you through those feelings and stuff. And I think I just wanted to encourage that kind of oversharing. I mean, we call it oversharing, but it is just being honest, I suppose, really.
Yeah.
I think, like, I think it's oversharing when I say it in front of my, mother-in-law or old English teacher or whatever. But I wanted to encourage that kind of safe space, and that hopefully you go away with that and go to, if you're making new friends through NCT or, mum groups and all that kind of thing, to be the one sometimes that says, like, you never guess what happened last night, blah, blah, blah. And see where that takes your relationships. Because I think even if there are women who are like, whoa, too much, I think it just, like, it sets out your tribe for you, I think, and helps you find your way a little bit more. And I hope that the more people who get that message will mean, even if you do feel like, whoa, that was too much information, you know how to cope with it and how to be supportive regardless. And also, I just like a bit of a giggle.
Yeah, it's going to be a giggle a minute.
Yeah, and I don't have any parenting advice. So frankly, I thought the next best thing might be just to have a laugh. And if you're laughing at my expense, that's totally fine. That happens all the time.
You're cool with that?
Yeah, completely comfortable. So I suppose you're just like a nice chat with everyone, really.
Yeah.
And a sharing of awful stories, probably.
Yeah, that'll be good. Be like a confession, won't it? Of
Confessional.
Your most cringe moments as a mother.
Yeah.
I'm sure we've all got heaps to share.
Yeah.
It could be inspiration for another book, Grace.
Let's hope so.
Awesome. So is there anyone watching at the moment that has any questions?
I can see things.
A few familiar names. So if anyone's got anything they would like to ask Grace, we can do that. I'm just going to check from I did write some messages. Sorry, questions even. What's your favourite bit in the book? What's the bit that you're most like? Was there anything you thought, oh, I don't know if I can put that in or not? Or was it like...
No, there was loads of things. And also I made Rich read bits that I was particularly like, so if it was involving his family in particular, I wanted him to make sure that he read it first. And because some of it, I was like nuts for a while when I wasn't sleeping and stuff. It was, you know, and some of my perceptions, I wanted to get it all down to show how your brain just goes like that. So hopefully reading it, you get that sense of like just a roller coaster constantly. So I wanted him to read some of it, and he was like, yeah, I totally read it. Yeah, I read it. And then recently he actually picked the book up and got about halfway through, and I didn't realize he was doing it, but I'd roll over in bed and he'd be like looking, and I'd realize it was my book, and I'd be like, dude, you should have maybe read that before it was published, because there's stuff about you in there. So no, I'm trying to think, what bits was I worried about? I think I was worried when I'm talking about going up to visit my in-laws. It's not negative about them at all, because I adore them, but I was in like a dark, that 3-month period where you're like exhausted. And I think when I wrote down how I was really feeling, I never would have told them that. So I was slightly worried about that, but Rich read it and was like, no, that's, you know, that's how it was, and everyone would understand that. But I found the most fun stuff to write was the stuff about our sex life, which is ridiculous, because I'm not sure anyone really wants to know, but it just made me laugh. And
it made me laugh so much. The
design of... I was thinking about Rich reading it and laughing, and that's what some of the like grossest stuff, that's why it got in there. But it's just so fun to do that. Like, and you know, when you get together with your girlfriends and you do those kind of chats, I don't think I've done them since I got married. Weirdly, I used to always have those chats with girlfriends, like housemates at uni and all that, about blokes and what you got up to. And then you kind of get married. It's like a sort of sacred, not to be disgusting, or at least it has been in my experience. And then I was just like, why though? It's nuts. Like, I'm not ashamed of any of it. And like, you know, we have a good sort of solid relationship, I hope. Touch wood. That, you know, it can stand it. And then I thought the only person I'd probably be embarrassed if they really hated it was my daughter. And I thought, firstly, I hope she's not going to read it for a long time, if ever. And when she does, I hope she'll hopefully see it as a woman and go like, oh, cool. So if I go through that, I understand where it came from. And yeah, that's what women go through when they have kids. So yeah.
Keeping it real, isn't it? For sure.
Yeah, I think so.
True life. So we have got a little question here from Marie.
Oh, hi.
And she's saying, interested about the self-confidence and how you really make that step of I can do this. So the self-belief and...
I think because I'm a writer, it's my profession anyway to, like, if someone asks me my opinion, like, write it all down, get it out there. And because I'm, I suppose, paid to do that, I have to have a certain amount of self-confidence in that process.
And have you always been that way, Grace, even when you were small? Were you always quite outspoken? And
I think my parents would say yes. Yeah, no, I've definitely had moments of being really self-aware and self-conscious and thinking like, I'm not going to say that because it's not cool, and I'm not going to say that because, you know, men won't find that attractive. And, you know, I've definitely been through those phases, but I think I am at a point in my life where, like, I don't know, if it's true that it's true, I'm not going to be able to change it at this point, and so I might as well get it out there. And if, you know, some people definitely won't like it. I feel like I can be very bolshy and like, yeah, I've got total self-belief until I get criticized, and then I think, like most human beings, I am a bit like, oh, maybe that wasn't such a good idea, maybe I'm terrible. I don't have any secrets to self-belief. I think people want you to do well. The majority of people want other people to do well, and that always gives me confidence of like, nobody wants me to fail and nobody wants me to feel crap. So, you know, chances are whatever I produce is going to have some value to someone, and therefore is worth putting out, even if it's one person agrees with it and feels better after reading it. But self-belief in other people, I think tiredness actually wiped out a lot of my worries. I just couldn't be asked to worry anymore, and I didn't have the energy. So I just thought, you know, get on with it and put it out there and see what happens. But everything's an experiment. I feel like every time I write something, I'm never really sure. You just have to wait and see. That's not very helpful, is it? In what capacity self-belief and self-confidence do you think she's asking?
I think just that probably we're our own worst critics, actually. I think you hit the nail on the head when you said, you know, about self-belief, that actually everybody is supporting us, and it's only our inner critic that's killing us, our inner bitch that's, you know,
so true. Monkey
giving
brain.
us that. Yeah. So if you're still here, Marie, you can give us a little bit more detail about that. And she wants to know, do you only have one child?
Yes.
And is she at school now? Because she was starting nursery, wasn't she, in the book? So
so she's just finishing her first year at school, which has been amazing, such an amazing year. But also, like, really sad, and I am now on wavering. Like, we always said we were just going to have one, and that's just been our plan for various reasons. And now she's at school. I'm like, I mean, she's basically moving out soon.
Like, empty nest.
Yeah, complete empty nest, even though she's only 5. So yeah, I'm totally wavering on that. But yeah, she's we definitely don't plan to have any more Angie, and she is very happy at school. Thank goodness. What a like crazy process to just send them off and be like, hope for the best.
Yeah, that is a big step. It's another milestone, isn't it, as a mother? That whole see you later, baby.
Yeah, completely. And there's been so many little emotional things to encounter, like friendships, and just the fact that, you know, you're out being challenged all day. I mean, from her perspective, there's so many things to navigate as a mum. And I'm not sure I'm doing brilliantly yet, but I'm getting there.
Sure you are, darling. You're doing a great job of it. Great job.
Marie's back. Going from knowing you could write and had something to write and going out and finding. Oh, okay, yeah, I see what you mean. I think I probably am quite deluded in thinking that these things just happen all the time and it's fine to just go and approach someone. But I feel like you've got to think what the worst case scenario is, and if you can handle that worst case scenario, then just go and do it because you've got nothing to lose. And for me, it was like getting rejected by the publisher, in which case I'd probably, I guess, try another publisher. Do you know what I mean? I think I didn't like the idea that someone might read it and think, oh God, cringe, she's terrible. But then I thought to myself, like, is it worth that? Is that fear worth not even trying and attempting it? And it wasn't. So that's okay. There was one publisher quite early on, and my agent just didn't like send the full whack, but just was like, this is what she's thinking of writing. What do you think? And she was like, oh, I don't empathize at all because I really love my daughter. And my colleagues are really like accommodating about work and stuff. And I was like, I really love my daughter and my colleagues are really accommodating. Like, that's not what I meant at all. But like I said to you, it's a difficult synopsis to say without sounding like it's quite dark. So that's why I was really pleased that I'm with HarperCollins, because the women in my team were just like straight away like, yes, to 100% to all of it. Yeah, we get it. I don't know. I don't know if that is self-belief or just sheer, like, you know, what's the worst that can happen, really?
Courage, isn't it? It's courage. Like, if I get knocked back, I can get up again and just deal with it.
I guess so, yeah. Although I think that's almost sounds too admirable. I don't think I thought it through in enough to think, like, in a Beyonce stance, I'm going to nail this. I was more like, it's fine to just try, and if it doesn't work out, that's okay. And luckily it did. But I don't think self-belief in the sense of like, I am so good at this, I'm going to nail this and everyone's going to want to read it. Like, I'm not that person. I'm just pootling along in my own lane and seeing where it goes, really.
Oh, that's cool. That's the best place to be, enjoying the journey. So. We did have another message here from MJ, who's just saying, your success is really admirable. Oh. But have you had to deal with knockbacks, and how do you pick yourself up again?
I think it's more like I've made choices independently. Like, so I've been like, I'll do this blog now because that's what people want to hear about. And I think I need to learn more about like thinking outside the box of what people actually want. So in terms of knockbacks, it's just more like no one reads whatever it is. Like I had a blog years ago, like a fashion blog, and no one was interested in it at all, and it got no traction. And I kept going for quite a long time, but it still just didn't pick up. So I think that's like mass rejection rather than like one person saying you're not very good. And I think I'm quite good at just like shelving something and then just not thinking about it anymore and being like, on to the next thing, like what will work. And also soaking up any advice that anyone gives me, even if I have to say like, oh, that doesn't quite apply to me, but I'm gonna take something out of it. That's like always being open to what other people think and might help you. networking so that you have a group of people around you who can offer you advice and stuff like that. I think that's been key for me, because when I have ditched a project, because I am quite fickle and I will quit something after if I don't feel like it's, you know, making returns, then I feel like I already have the next step ahead of me ready. So yeah, and I remember with the book, I talked about writing a book for years and years and years, and then my best friend's husband was like, why don't you just write the fucking book now, stop talking about it?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, all right, yeah, all right, I will, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna do it. You
And it's
just
as
watch
easy
me.
as that. If someone like nudges me a bit and like, you know, then I'm like, okay, yeah. And also, like, I'm just deadlines. You can't dwell too long on something that went wrong, because you've got to get on with the next thing, otherwise you will not be able to pay the mortgage. So
Yeah.
I suppose, yeah, just sheer denial. Probably not very healthy, and then like on to the next thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. That all sounds good. Now let's see. Last question. Okay. So outside of writing, what's your go-to for fun times outside of writing and being a mum?
I'd love to say like running, going to the gym,
If you've read
yoga.
the book, you'll know this is not true.
No, this is not true. I really like a drink and to have a giggle with a group of people. Like, that's my happy place, whether that's at home or out or on the phone to my best mate, and it doesn't always have to involve a drink, but I do like a drink. Or like going to the cinema. Like, I'm pretty simply pleased. I'm easily pleased, basically. But it's those belly laughs with friends. I don't think you can beat it. And that was one of the things that happened when Emmy was little, and then when it's in the book, is that I couldn't work out what I wanted to do for fun.
Yeah, I
I
remember
couldn't
that.
remember.
I remember you've lost yourself that you forgot what you
Completely.
even like or want.
Exactly. And a friend was saying, like, what do you want to do for your birthday? And I was like, I mean, I think like I used to like going to a spa, maybe. Like, that's a stock thing, isn't it? Like, particularly for women, I think that we go, we're going to treat ourselves, go for a spa weekend. And I don't enjoy them that much. Probably because they're a bit like work for me with being a beauty editor and stuff. And then I was thinking, like, do I like going shopping? Yeah, but I can't really be asked. And everything like refined down to this one thing, which was just like great company, and which I think I feel really lucky that I worked that out, that I don't need to fly anywhere or spend loads of money or whatever. I just need to be with the right people. And I think more so now as well, since having my kid and being tired and probably having less patience, it's got to be those people that just make me feel good, that there's no agenda and there's no afterthought of me going like, oh, what did she mean by that? Or it's always like the pure loving relationships.
Yeah. If you're going to go to
Yeah,
the effort
that's
of
my
getting
giggle.
a babysitter, then it's got to be worth your while, isn't it?
I really didn't work this out, but we went out for the first time in about a year the other night, and we had a babysitter and had a taxi because we'd be drinking, because we would be able to for once. And at the end of the night, we realised that we'd spent 180 quid, and all we'd had was dinner. Like, we hadn't gone out on the lash or gone to a club or something. And we were just like, how? Like, we don't have that money to spend
Yeah.
on a
Crazy,
weekly
isn't
shop, let alone a night out. We were like, oh my God. So yeah, so it doesn't even have to be that. I think it's just, yeah, the giggles.
Good times. Good
Yeah.
times. Drinking and dancing. There
And
we
I
go.
like an elastic waistband. I'm not
Who
going to lie. Who doesn't?
Yeah. Well, my love, I think that was awesome.
Oh,
So excited to have you along in October, and we'll be promoting your week. So if anyone wants to look Grace up who hasn't, have a look at it. It's just MumFace Grace, is it? All your social?
on Instagram. Yeah, I think Instagram and Facebook, and then Twitter is just MumFace, and then the website is mum-face.com.
Cool, yeah, look it up. Get the book, guys. Like, it's on Audible and Amazon. It will absolutely be laughing your asses off. It's superb.
Thank
So
you.
thank you so much. I
You
look
know,
forward to
it's so nice
seeing
to
you
see you.
in 102 days' time.
So exciting.
And we'll get everyone to bring their mummy confessionals along.
Yeah, that's such a good idea. We should get everyone. I know, you know, Scummy Mummies, who I love.
Yeah,
I think they get everyone in their audience to write down like the worst thing they've ever done as a confessional. And it's so funny when they put them up. It is so funny. And again, it makes you feel like it's not about trying to like make out like you're the worst parent ever and all that stuff. It's just about being like, isn't this nuts? Like, isn't this situation that we've got ourselves caught up in here as parents, isn't it nuts? And so like funny things happen.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm looking forward to other people oversharing.
Overshare it all together. Can't
Yeah.
wait. Beautiful. Can't wait. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Been
Naomi.
awesome. Enjoy the rest of your night. Thanks for
You
tuning in,
too.
everyone.
Bye,
Take care. Good night. Good night.